Hello everyone. So today we are going to work on how to create a high dynamic range image, aka HDR, out of a single RAW. To do so, first of all, you must choose a file that is in RAW, of course, and that has a decent exposure, that is not blurry in any way, and that was hopefully taken with the lowest ISO possible in order for you to not have too much noise or grain in your picture. So first of all, the software that we're going to be needing for this exercise are Photomatix Pro and Photoshop. If you don't have either one of these, I recommend you get them. So first of all, I'm going to locate my raw file, the raw image that I have, and double click on it. As soon as you double click on your raw image, you will see this raw importer in Photoshop. So our goal is to have 3 different exposures from this raw file that we have open. Don't worry about all the other options that you see over here. Just change the exposure from 0 to -1 for the first image. And as you have it open, I need you to click on Alt on your keyboard or Control on your PC keyboard. You see this Open Image button changes to Open Copy. I need you to click on Open Copy. This way, whatever changes that was made to this picture would not be saved into the original raw file. So as we have it in here, I need you to click on File, Save As, and we will be saving it as a JPEG in a new folder so that it's not lost. I will name this Sunset and create this new folder, and I'm going to change the file name to something that I would remember. So in this case, I will just name it to 1 and change the format from Photoshop to JPEG. Hit save. Try to save it in the maximum quality and click OK. So that was our first step. Repeat this step. Once again, we double click on it and we keep the exposure the same. Alter, open, and this time we save it as 0. See, Photoshop is smart enough to remember that you saved the last file as a JPEG, so it remembers that settings. We click on Save, and for the last time, we open the file, and this time we change the exposure to 1. You can add 2 more copies of this image by creating a -2 and a +2, but for the sake of simplicity, I will keep this tutorial limited into 3 images. Once again, we hit Alter, Open Copy, File, Save As, 3, and hit Save. OK. And this time I'm going to need you to run Photomatix Pro. As you run Photomatix Pro, you will see this window, and we will click on Load Bracketed Photos, Browse. We're going to find that folder that we were simply working on and select all these 3 images, load them, click OK. If these exposure values are not accurate, you can simply double click on them and change them to the right number, the right value, and click OK. Over here, you should actually click on Align Source Images if you did take these all these 3 shots separately, because tripods can shake, so this option helps. So in our case, since we are working with one single raw image, we really don't need to have this option selected. Also, there are no moving objects in our picture. We don't need to have Photomatix Pro take care of this problem for us, removing ghosts. And since there are some dark spots in our picture, we could use reduce noise on, but that also reduces the quality of the picture. So I will just unselect this option as well, and let's click on reprocess. Depending on how many pictures you're working with, Photomatix Pro might take a little longer. So there we have it. This is our raw HDR. Photomatix Pro 4.1.3 has all these beautiful templates that you could choose your HDR from. If you want, you're more than welcome to just click around and see which one you like. This does save you time, and usually you end up with a decent quality looking picture. But I am going to work with the default option that we have here. These are all the bars that you could work with. Let's boost up the strength a little bit. Play around with these settings up until you find something that you like. Okay, I think I have something that I can work with for now. So what I will do is click process once I think I have the picture the way I want. Now don't worry about all the noise and grains that you see here, because that's why this is not the final step. We are going to bring this into Photoshop once we have this processed. So let's click on process. Once again, depending on your computer and how many images you're working with, this process can take a little longer, a little less longer. Okay, so we have our image. It looks pretty nice, I think. We might even be able to get away with it without even using Photoshop. Just for the sake of, and for this tutorial, I will walk you through Photoshop. So what we do is we go to File menu on Photomatix Pro, Save As, and in the same folder, let's give it a name, file format, make sure it's JPEG, and we click Save. Now let's run Photoshop, and we go to File, Open. What I need you to do is open all these 4 files onto Photoshop. The original 3 different exposures and the tone mapped file that we just received from Photomatix Pro. So as we have these files open, I need you to keep the tone mapped file untouched, but navigate to each one of the other files, hit Command A on your keyboard or Control A on your PC. You have the marching ants, which means we have this complete layer selected. And once you have the marching ants, please hit Command C or Control C on your PC. We have copied this layer, and you can go ahead and close this. Come back to the tone map file and simply hit Control V. It pastes the layer that we just copied. Repeat the process for the other 2 files. Now as you can see, I have all these layers lined up on top of my original tone map layer. So what I am going to do next is double click on the background image to turn this locked layer into a normal layer. And I will change this layer name to tone mapped. So now I have my tone mapped layer, and as I have this highlighted, I'm going to hit Command J on my Mac or Control J on my PC to make a copy of this layer. And let's drag this layer all the way up top, because this is the layer we are going to be adding and subtracting things from. We made a copy of this so that in any case we have a backup. So as we have this tone mapped layer selected, let's click on Mask, Add Layer Mask. What a mask basically does is it can help you hide or expose things from the layer right beneath from it. So as I'm here, I'm going to select the brush tool, right click, and let's select a soft brush. Just so you know, you can do that from your keyboard by pressing the parentheses button. And as we have it large enough, we change the opacity from 100% to 30%. The opacity of the brush gives us control of how much is showing from the layer beneath per brush stroke that we do make on the layer mask. Just so you know, white hides and black reveals. What I mean by that is, if I have black selected on the color palette and I draw on the mask, I am revealing things from the layer below. And as I draw with white, the exact opposite thing happens. As you can see, things are becoming less darker. You can turn on and off this layer visibility button for you to see what part of this layer you actually want to keep or get rid of. At this part, we have some halo effect that the HDR generated that does not look very realistic. So we can get rid of that because the layer beneath it has a pretty dark spot there. So simply select black on your color palette. You can also switch the foreground and the background color just by clicking X. And once we have black selected, we can brush over this overexposed part to get rid of it. Also, there are some parts over here that we can click on. As you are drawing and playing around with the mask, just remember that you are taking care of one problem at a time. For example, the layer that we have beneath our tone map layer right now is the brighter layer. So make sure you are taking care of spots that are too dark. Also, there are some parts in this cloud that we might to have fixed. Think of yourself as a painter at this point, because that's basically what you're doing. You're brushing away the parts that needs fixing. And this is completely your creativity. No one can tell you what to do or what not to do at this stage of this picture. So take your time fixing the things you need to fix. By the way, as you are making changes to your layer, once you're done with one layer, click on the layer beneath it by holding Shift. This way you have both layers selected, and you can hit Command E on your Mac or Control E on your PC to merge these two layers, and then apply the same process by adding a layer mask to this image and fixing what needs to be fixed or what you want to have fixed, because like I said, it's a creative process. For instance, we have the number 2 here a little too bright. That looks nicer in the layer beneath, so just keep clicking over here with the black color selected. I have kind of taken care of the problems that I wanted to. Fortunately, we were able to come up with a decent looking, not too unrealistic or noisy HDR. So this is the comparison that I have in the end. I took care of the glares and potentially fake looking spots. This is it for today. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact me or post them up here on this YouTube page. And good luck.